We are here at Lighthouse. The morning after the storm, we decided to come out. We had crazy weather here last night from Tropical Storm Sally. We were under tornado warnings. We were under flood warnings. I might have to do a voiceover on this video if it's too windy because it is very, very windy out here. So I'll have to see how the recording goes. But we've already got maintenance workers out here working on the beach. I imagine the water was pretty high last night. But you guys are gonna get to see the morning firsthand. Okay, so you guys can see that this here is usually all the way up and the sand just covered this mat here. So lots of sand movement came in from the beach. So you guys are getting to see the beach the morning after the big storm. A lot of people ask me when is the best time to come shelling after a storm, and it all depends. We're still having remnants of this storm, so the storm isn't actually over yet. As you can see, the waves are crazy, and it's gonna stir up all these shells and hopefully bring them in. You can start to see there's a little rack line here. Some shells are starting to kind of roll in a little bit. So I imagine over the next few days we're gonna start to see some really fun things here. Whether or not Lighthouse here will be the hot spot or the other end of the island down by the Line Pass, we will have to see. But just to give you guys an idea, you guys can see this sign right here, how high that is. Look at this one. So this sign should be probably like 3 feet off the ground. At least another 2 feet, and this one down here is completely, the sand is up to the bottom of the sign, so you can see how high the sand is here, how high the beach got just from the waves pushing the sand in. So very, very interesting what the storms can do and how it can change the beach. And that's why we say that the beach changes all the time. And it changes every day and every tide. So here's a nice little piece of a true tulip here. Little baby scallop. This little baby scallop. Always a good time to shell on Sanibel, as I say. You might not have piles of shells yet from this storm, but anytime you have shells, it's a great time to come out and see which ones you have. You just gotta look, you just gotta get down and check them all out. So we're gonna go around the corner here. So I'm interested to see what we've got around the bend. You guys are going to join us this morning on this little beach walk. good and pretty fun. Look at all of these duck clams. I still call them elephant ears, but the proper name is duck clam, but I will always call them elephant ears, dating back to my childhood. But this is kind of the fun stuff, the beach trash, as I call it, not necessarily garbage, but beach trash that starts to wash up. You get really fun things like this. You know, this just makes a really fun little display, whether you're doing a craft, whether you have a little, you know, a canvas and you put this on the canvas and put shells around it. So this is what I call a beach treasure, because, you know, it's a treasure. It's not a seashell, but it's something that comes from the beach, and it's something that's really fun. So we'll take that with us. This is where you're going to find egg casings. This is where you're going to find, sometimes you'll find crab shells. Sometimes you will find starfish or sand dollars that get washed up. You find pieces of driftwood. So a lot of the time up here in this rack line after a storm is when we get all this seaweed and beach trash and what I like to call, and this is the stuff that I love to look through. I mean, I love to shell and we love to shell, right? Like, shelling's awesome, but the beach trash is what I love to go through. Right here is a sea turtle egg. So this one hatched, and this probably just got washed out. These nests, probably a lot of them got washed out. And this is an egg. Now remember, sea turtles are protected. That means all of the turtle. That includes their shell, that includes their egg. So you cannot, even though this egg hatched, and you're like, well, what? It's just the shell, right? It doesn't matter, you cannot take it. This is protected. So you can take a picture of it, but you cannot take it. You cannot have it in your possession. I don't make the rules. I just tell you guys what they are so you don't get in trouble. Here's a little operculum. So that's always a fun little beach treasure to find. The little trap door to maybe a whelk or a tulip or a horse conch. So we'll put that in our bag. Here's another little sea tree. We'll call it a little sea tree. A little like sea whip looking tree that's really fun, so we'll put that in there too. And sometimes you'll find sea pearls or like a type of sea bean that's really fun. So I always love looking up at these rack lines. See what else we can find. Here's a little slipper shell here. It's a really pretty one with a nice little pattern on it. It's a nice little one. Shells are really fun. This one's actually together. Oh, this has an animal in it. I think it actually might. Yep, so I don't know if you guys will be able to see in here where it's orange, but this pen shell is actually alive still, or I don't know if it's actually still alive, but it's got an occupant, so we're gonna toss that back in the water, just in case he is still alive. It. But this to me is the fun part of storms, when all of this other stuff rolls in and you get to kind of sift through and see what pretties wash ashore. Here's a little clump of seaweed. Let's see if we have anything hiding in here. Sometimes you'll have a little crab or something fun hiding in there. Ooh, look, here's a little baby here, right next to a little sand flea shell. So here's the little sand flea. This is just the shell of the sand flea, but that's what they look like. And then here's a really cute little baby ear. I'm surprised this one made it. They're very fragile. Super fragile shells. Here's another little operculum here. the duck clams. They are everywhere. It is kind of like the shell of the day. Here looks like a sea cucumber that got washed up. So they're a sea creature. They're usually kind of gray. They're kind of hard. And we're gonna throw him back. Give him a chance to see if he wants to go back into the water. A lot of little sea creatures get tossed up in the waves, so if you find a sea creature and you are not sure if it is alive or not, always put it back and give them the benefit of the doubt. They can survive a long time out of the water. Here's a little stocia there. Look how pretty. These are awesome to paint. Little bivalves, especially when they're together like that. They're really fun. But always give them the benefit of the doubt. If you find a starfish and and you're not really sure if it's still alive, and you put it in the water and you're looking at their little feet and you can't really tell if they're moving, go ahead and put it back, take a picture so you have that as a memory, but try not to just assume that it's not alive if you're not sure. Here's a little angel wing. It's got a little hole in it, but pretty little angel wing, almost whole. That's a shame that that one's broken. They are super fragile. A lot of these fragile shells with the waves just don't fare so well as they're getting tossed ashore. So just to give you guys a view, this is where we came from, over here. And then this is the crazy wave. And then we are right here in front of Lighthouse. And then you can see there's not a whole lot of beach left. We've got husband, he's been checking it out around the corner. And we've still got a really fun rack line that we are just seeing if we've got anything cool. The tide is coming in. See if we see anything interesting. Here's a little baby heart cockle right here. Here's a really fun piece of driftwood. Look how pretty this is. Fun old piece of driftwood. Woo! Here comes the wave. So another little cockle right there. So these little seeds fall off mangroves and they float around in the water and they start to grow roots like this right here. And eventually when they come to land, they'll root and then they start to grow new mangroves. So that's what these are, if you ever find them and you're wondering. That's what they are. Here's a part of a crab trap that looks like it got just demolished and ripped apart in the storm. And you can see that there's pieces of sea pork on here that are just kind of clamped onto the outside of the trap. So not the kind of pork you want to eat, but it is called sea pork. It does come in different colors. It comes in red, orange, gray, white, purple, blue. And it is a trunicat, and it does kind of like a filter feeder. Here you can see kind of the purple color here. And it is kind of a rubbery, creature, sea creature. Ooh, it is windy out here. Windy and wavy. Trying to see, there's an osprey somewhere. I hear him calling. So there's usually an osprey up at the top of the lighthouse. Ooh, there's some pelicans flying. Look how pretty. So there's usually an osprey. Oh, there he is. I'll try to hold still. Do you see him up there? At the very top of the lighthouse. Right there. And then he's calling to somebody. There he is. You guys hear him? Oh, he's got a fish? I think he's got a fish or something. It's always super fun to see wildlife here. If you didn't know, if you've never been to Sanibel before, Sanibel is a wildlife preserve. So many of you who have been here already know that, but the whole island is a preserve, so they are very, very into protecting the wildlife here. Very conservation forward. They don't have any street lights or traffic lights, so it's very, very dark at night. There's no lights because they want to make sure that the wildlife is protected and undisturbed, which is wonderful. Here's a little buttercup here. Let's see if it's pretty on the underside. Oh yeah, look at that. I love pretty buttercups. Love them. Let's see what we got over here. Anything fun? Got a good little assortment of shells kind of starting to pile here, which is good. So this is going to be a great little place to start to shell. As the tide comes in and pushes shells up here, this is going to be a place where shells start to accumulate right here on the corner. You can see here where, like, especially right here, it's all starting to pile up. Another couple cockles, a piece of a paper fig. Bring in those shells. Yes, please. Super excited to come back here over the next couple days. See what kind of fun shells roll in. $10 here. Just a little piece of a hair welt. Here's some more of those little trees. I just love these. They're so fun to craft with and to make little displays. So anytime that I find those, I don't think they're true like sea whips, but they are really fun, I think. Here's another just little one. I just think they're fun. Oh, here's a little piece of a sea urchin. Again, a lot of these shells and a lot of the sea creatures are just so fragile. Sand dollars, crab shells, sea urchins, paper figs. They're just so fragile. So unfortunately, a lot of the time after a storm like this, they just don't make it to shore whole. Angel wings, etc. Here's another paper fig, a couple of them here. Here's a little bottle cap, we'll take that. That's garbage. So when I say, I just want you guys to know, when I say beach trash, I just mean like this junk. Do you know what I mean? Like the good kind of beach trash, the natural kind of beach trash. But like anytime you see actual garbage or like human trash, always like pick that up and take it home. Here's another piece of an angel wing here. So fragile. I hate seeing, oh here, is this the top of it? Oh, wow. Oh, I thought this was maybe the top of it. I don't know, maybe. We'll have to see. Here's another little piece of sea pork hanging on to an old arc shell, so you can see the purple color. That really vibrant, bright purple. Ooh, and here's a little piece of a true tulip. So they are here. They're here. I bet they're gonna be, oh look, here's another piece right here, look. Here, look. Two different colors. Look at that. So they're here. They're out there. When you find pieces, you know they're here. Oh, do you guys see what I see? I'm gonna give you a second. I'm gonna put it right in the middle of my frame. I spy a shark eye. Let's see if you guys see it. Zoom in a little bit. You see it? It's hiding, and it's perfect, and it's beautiful. Look at that. Oh, nobody home. Super pretty little shark eye. Love that. Here's a little mussel shell. It's either an oyster or a mussel. Oh, and look at this. This is kind of a cool. See if I can get some of this unattached. This little seaweed off of here. Take the little seaweed off. Ooh, here comes the waves. And then I want to see if anybody's inside this mussel, because if there is, we don't want to take it home. So let me see if anybody is in here. Oh yeah, see, there's a creature in there. So we can't take this because there's somebody in there, but look how pretty that is. Isn't that really cool? So we're gonna leave this because there's somebody inside that mussel shell. That would have been a really cool little decorative beach find. Let's see what else we can find. I just love beach days like this, where there's just so much stuff to look through. Another piece of driftwood here. Another piece of sea pork there attached to a seashell. Here's a little cluster of barnacles. Looks like a little piece of driftwood. And then you've got little barnacles attached, and the barnacles are empty. There's nobody inside of them. Look how cool. It's pretty neat. That's a neat little beach find. That's another little, what I call a beach treasure. Just something really cool and neat. And I know that it's always fun to come out here and find just piles of really fun big shells, but it's also really fun to come out and find pieces of driftwood like this. And it's fun to come out and find different things that you don't normally find on the beach. Like, you don't always find all this stuff. And here's a little piece of a king crown. That's kind of cool to be able to see the inside of the king crown like that. That's really neat. I just saw something else and now I lost it with my eyeball. Thought I saw something, but now I don't see it. Oh, here. So sometimes you guys will, like, I see this a lot posted in the Facebook group. Somebody will find a bone and they'll be like, oh my gosh, is it a fossil? No, it's not a fossil, it's just a bone. And a lot of times you will find bones because they put, I know this is kind of gross, but they put like a leg from like a pig or a goat into a crab trap as bait. So the crabs go in to eat the meat off of the bone, and then the bones fall out of the crab trap and get washed up. So unfortunately, it's not like a really cool dinosaur bone. It's usually like a pig foot or a pig bone or something. So I don't know, if you want to collect bones, then you can, but typically it's not anything, you know, really amazing. It's just a bone from a crab trap. So a lot of people ask about that. And now you know. Oh, look at this big piece of orange scallop. It's broken, but that would have been really pretty. We've made it to the end here, and usually we can go around, but it is high tide. So one thing I want to show you guys is, especially after storms like this, here you can see the rack line that we've been shelling, right? But a lot of times there's another rack line, and you might not see it. Usually people don't. It's all the way up here. Okay, if you can see, here it is. It's all the way up where, you know, usually the water never goes. So up here, all of these shells, the tide pushed up here last night in the storms. Look at this. This is where you will find a lot of really fun stuff. Like all up here, this was all pushed up here last night. So this is a place, like this is like a big tip, you guys, because people don't come up here. People don't think that like this is all new stuff. And this is where you can find a lot of really cool stuff. This is where we find mermaid purses. This is where we find really cool shells that wash up here. They got pushed up with the wind and pushed up with the waves after a storm. So always take your time to find the highest rack line. This is a fresh rack line from last night. So we're gonna kind of just snoop through here real quick. And I just wanna see, let me just grab some of this trash as I go. And let's see if we see anything fun. And sometimes you just have to like, this is like all the beach trash that I was telling you about. All of the just seaweed and the mangrove seeds and the leaves and the junk, but sometimes in here you'll find really fun stuff. So just keep your eye out for anything cool, any cool pieces of driftwood or anything fun. I can't believe look how high, I mean, look how high the water got last night. Like, this is crazy. Holy moly. Oh, here's a little scallop with some barnacles on it. I love those little barnacles. I think they're so fun. And a lot of times you will find shells, let me try to focus, that get stuck up here in the vegetation. And you will be surprised at how many shells get stuck. And nobody like looks up here because they're all down by the water. But up here is like where sometimes really fun stuff is. Like up here, look. Here's a little operculum here. Another little operculum. Look at this big piece of driftwood. Oh my gosh, I wish I could take this thing home. Look at this. Look at this piece of driftwood. How pretty is that? Oh, I love it. Look at the like design in it. How pretty is that? Oh my gosh, I want to take it home so bad. we are gonna head back. It's starting to rain again and the tide is coming in pretty strong. We're losing our beach. So I hope you enjoyed this quick morning beach walk, checking out Lighthouse here. We are literally right in front of Lighthouse Point this morning, the morning after Tropical Storm Sally. I hope you had fun with us checking out the beach. We are getting ready to be sucked out to sea with these big waves. So I will be back over here in the next couple days to check out the rack lines and what is in the break line as these waves settle down, and we're gonna also check out some of the other beaches too. So thank you guys so much for being members of the Virtual Shelling Network. I truly appreciate your support, and I hope you enjoy these fun virtual shelling videos. For those of you who aren't able to get to the beach, I hope you are able to enjoy visiting the beach from the comfort of your own home. So until next time, I will see you again later. Bye! Coming up next time on the Virtual Shelling Network, we explore the West End the day after Tropical Storm Sally.
Oh, it is. Yes.
So we are on West Golf Drive, and we are gonna attempt to get to the beach. This is creepy. I'm like expecting to see a gator like swim by. Alright guys, I walked down even further. I'm not even sure how far down I am now. But there is this ginormous shell pile. Look at these that I just picked up. I mean, crazy shells.